Well, the news we all expected has happened. Kevin Stefanski is fired, but the fallout is significant. Some of it surprising. Oh yeah, the Browns won, and someone just made history in beating the Bengals. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. The sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Hope everyone's having a great time. And boy, it's interesting day in Berea, in Ohio. News we expected, Kevin Stefanski gone. But Andrew Berry stays and is going to be a part of picking the new head coach. Jimmy Haslam, the owner, spoke. Browns won. Guess that's good. 2018, the final and seldom used victory Monday mug. Finished the year on a 2-game win streak. Take that for what you will. Finishing 5-12, technically 2 wins better than a year ago. And they secured the 6th overall spot in the draft. Myles Garrett got it done. Celebration. All-time sack record. How about it? And how about you? Click notifications on, subscribe to the channel, share it, jump in the chat, have a good time. Let us know. We'll be doing live Sunday playoff shows as well throughout the NFL playoffs. So have a good time with that. And also follow us on X, on Twitter, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. You'll find I'm putting out a ton of Browns content from the sporting news. You'll find lots of that. Shedeur Sanders reaction, college football stuff. Going to have a mock draft roundup coming up later this afternoon as well. So check all that out on X, at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns, on Instagram and TikTok, at AndyMCSports. So a lot to get to here after the Browns' 2018 victory. And now a change, something after 6 years we haven't seen, but get ready. Now bring on my guy, former Cleveland Browns staff writer, used to work in the building under the 2 ownerships of the Browns, the Lerner family and the Haslam. So I thought, well, here's a guy who's been through firsthand, been in the building when this type of thing has happened. Let's bring in Matt Florjancic, legendary, award-winning Cleveland sports writer. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, Andy, I'm having a little trouble with the audio. I can't hear you right now.
Oh, you can't hear me? You got me now?
Not sure what's going on. I'm checking my settings now.
Okay, Matt, after putting you over, too. While Matt figures that out, let's go through a little bit
there
of
you go.
Game.
Got
You got me?
Yeah, sorry about that, brother. Can you still hear me?
I got you. You missed me putting you over like Scott Hall selling a Stone Cold Stunner at WrestleMania, man. Jeez.
Well, that's what the replay's for, right?
That's right. You can hear it there. Look, I was saying, like, okay, the Browns. The buried point now is that Myles Garrett made history, got the sack finally on Joe Burrow, hit number 23, sent T.J. Watt's record out the window, and has surpassed Michael Strahan. Your thoughts on the Browns finishing the year on a 2-game winning streak to get to 5 and Myles Garrett getting it done?
I mean, it's always nice to win games. I'd rather win games than talk about draft picks any day. I think you've known me long enough. We're going on almost 13 years of friendship here.
Oh my God.
And I think
right.
you know me well enough to know that the draft is kind of meh. It's all potential, and potential in Cleveland usually just doesn't usually go anywhere. So
Yeah.
I'm always kind of less optimistic about the draft position. I want to win during the season. That's when you win. It's winning time. It's time to show up. It's time to play ball. Exactly. When you're going through the dregs of training camp and what have you, you're not doing it because you want to play badly and get a better draft pick. You want to win games ultimately. And I think winning 2 is good for the morale within the fan base to say that you beat the Steelers in one of those 2. Even if it helped the Ravens initially, it didn't in the end because the Steelers still got in and the Ravens are staying home, which is always a good thing in my opinion. But anytime you can get a win like that, a signature win against a team that is playoff bound and could do some damage in the postseason, I think it's a good step. And the record is the record. I mean, it's nice. It probably won't last long based on a 17-game season. If they go to an 18-game season, there's always going to be somebody to knock it down. But to say that you have it at any point in your career is a heck of a feather in the cap. I think you can probably put Myles Garrett down for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't see anybody who could really make a case for it other than Myles Garrett at this point. So I'd rather he'd have like 14 sacks and we have 13 wins, but obviously, that's just me being a greedy Browns fan that wants team success over individual success. But
you might take that too at this point.
Yeah, it might take a Herculean effort just to get to that point. But kudos to him. He stayed in the fight. It was not a good offseason for Myles. I don't think one bit in terms of his the publicity with his Radio Row stories and requests and demands, and then he turns around and he signs another 9-figure contract. Well, somebody slid 9 figures in front of me. I'm signing the paper too. Like, I don't blame him for that, but I just think
he would have got that anywhere, though. That's always confused me. He would have got that money anywhere.
Yeah, but nobody could give it to him now. That's the key. And who knows what this leads to? I mean, he may have another disgruntled offseason. We don't know. I mean, we don't know what the future holds for Myles. We just know that as of today, he's an NFL single-season record holder for sacks, and he's under contract for the Browns for the foreseeable future. Now, whether or not they can negotiate him into waiving part of that no-trade clause to go to a contending team and we can get picks for it, who knows? I don't know. But all I know is today he has reason. He has reason to celebrate, yeah. And in a year when you didn't have many, Myles is certainly a guy who stands out as a reason to be excited because Lord knows it wasn't anybody on the offense
or special teams.
And I don't even go to the special teams, man. Let's not talk about that. I mean, come on. We're still trying to figure out how that coach still has a job, but obviously the defense carried the mail for the year, so it's only fitting that it ends with a defensive milestone. I know the celebration didn't go over too well with the Bengals, but
I saw that on social. Get over, you sore loser bums. Get out of here.
That comes off the sour grapes to me. Like I have respect for some of the players in that locker room for what they can do on the field, but then they start talking, and then I'm like, oh, good Lord, this is why, sometimes live mics are bad things. But anyway,
then stop them. You don't like it, don't
exactly.
Let it back, and he got it. And they did a good job. Look, the last month, teams have known that Myles Garrett's trying to get that record, and they have put in every effort. The cowardice of the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 weeks ago, cowards in losing that game, and it wasn't for a missed kick, they'd be sitting at home. Everybody and their uncle was trying to do anything to stop Myles Garrett from getting that record, and he got there, and fitting it was against Joe Burrow, the man he has sacked more than anybody. Sour grapes, Bengals, you stink too. Mike Brown re-upped, by the way, or confirmed that the head coach and all that will be coming back. So, yippee for them.
I'm amazed at who's number 2 on Myles' sack list. Did you see the stat yesterday? Lamar Jackson. Nobody in the world could sack him his first couple of years. He had so much, hype and about him being able to escape the pocket and whatnot. When I saw the numbers and I saw that they were even, actually, Burrow and Jackson, in terms of how many times Myles has gotten home on each of those dudes, I'm like, damn, that's a pretty interesting statistic. I would not have guessed Lamar Jackson is number 2.
I don't remember him sacking him that much. I can picture
Burrow,
but I can't
the one game in Cleveland this year where he got to him a bunch. He helped me win a fantasy game because he went nuts on it. I think he got him like 4 times, but it was one of his multi-sack games where it's like, good Lord, like he's never been hit this much at all, much less in one game. So I think that just goes to show you just how good of a player Myles really is when he's focused and wants to be a good player.
And he was this year, no doubt. What surprised me too, Matt, was like Drake May in the one game they played, it was like on the list. He was like third. Like he had 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, Drake May popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, poor Drake May. I mean,
He's fine. They're good. They're going to
the offensive line was just abused that game, and they still want to go to win.
They still did. And that's the frustrating part. Myles puts in efforts like we saw this season, 23 sacks in the year, the defense overall, and you still come away with 5 wins. And now, likely, Matt, let's get to the news of the day. Kevin Stefanski, unsurprisingly relieved of his duties. He's out. Nice, thing put out by the Browns thanking him, and Stefanski class act all the way, of course. It was time to part ways. I totally agree with that. It means, too, that Jim Schwartz, unless he is considered for the head coaching position, which I would say yes, if you can tell me Jim Schwartz can get a nice, creative offensive young guy not named Tommy Rees, somebody who actually can, done it, bring him in, sign me up. I think we're in a position, Matt, where the Browns made a mistake before. Remember, after the Hugh Jackson and Greg Williams took over and the team looked good, right? And then they gave it to Freddie Kitchens and, off we went, right?
Yeah.
Give it to Schwartzy. Come on.
Off the rails it went is probably a better way to put it. But,
what's funny, though? Okay, and that was a bad season. However, Freddie still got 6 wins.
Yeah.
In a 1 year.
I know.
Still got 6. How crazy is that?
I know, dude. I'm telling you, that facility in Berea should be condemned for mental health purposes, because football people that go in there just end up doing stupid things all the time. But getting back on track, because I'll put the train back on track because I tended to dovetail a little bit. But not surprised about Stefanski. I think it was the worst kept secret of football for the last month. He parted ways, class act. Wish him the best. I think he'll get another job, and I think he'll do just fine. I think he's going to learn from some of the mistakes that he made, and I think hopefully for him at least, he'll have some more input in terms of the grocery buying before he's asked to cook the meal. To steal a reference from, I believe it was Bill Parcells.
I think you're right.
You asked him to do an awful lot with a roster of mush. I mean, let's be honest, the last 2 years, sure. What did you expect the man to do for the last 2 years? Mm-hmm. I mean, Deshaun Watson was an unmitigated disaster. We do not need to bring that pinata back into the room and continue beating it after it spewed candy everywhere. But I will anyway, because it's been a disaster. The contract has been an unmitigated disaster. It set the organization back. When Barry signed the deal and said it was going to be, we envisioned it as a 10-year deal. I looked at my wife that day and said, of course he would say that, because if this fails, it will be a 10-year mistake. We gave up all these draft picks. We gave up all this money. We're deferring money now to where they'll be in a new stadium before they're done paying off that contract, potentially.
At least 2 more years after this. If they don't cut him by June, I think it's the June 1st thing. If they don't cut him by that, if they have him on the roster next year, you will be crippled with salary cap penalty 2 years after. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't get it done now, you're going to have to bite the bullet, which is wild. Matt, my question is this, because you said it. Kevin Stefanski had to put up with a lot. And he signed up for it. You give me and you $5 million. I'll.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Andrew Berry was in charge of building the roster, and let's look at how he just submarined Stefanski and also horrific at quarterback. So you mentioned Deshaun Watson, but then you don't bring back Joe Flacco. Okay, last year. Then you bring Flacco and Pickett back, draft 2 quarterbacks, one of which you and I both know a 5'9" Hawaiian shouldn't have been drafted, period. Shedeur Sanders. And then after the 2 veterans take all the snaps, you trade both of the veteran quarterbacks for 5th round picks that you will turn into players that will do nothing. And Kevin Stefanski is the one that gets the axe. How does that make sense?
Yeah. To be honest with you, brother, Stefanski's the fall guy in all this situation. He is absolutely the consigliere that took the fall for the Don. Like, if we're going old school Godfather, he's the one that took the hit. There's no way on God's green earth Andrew Berry should have a job with Cleveland Browns today. No. Not as the general manager. As a salary cap guru, fine. as a chief strategy officer, I don't want to hear that. But as long as it means he didn't pick the players, I have no idea what the heck's going on. I mean, you lost the guy above him because he decided to quit because it was not going anywhere. You cut the guy.
Well,
I don't know about that now.
That's true.
I don't know about that. I'm not disagreeing that he shouldn't. I've been ringing that bell since the day he got hired, but we won't discuss that. Yeah. So you cut the guy above him, or the guy above him leaves. You cut the guy below him, and the guy in the middle is still standing, and is not only still standing, but is the guy that's going to lead the next coach search. That is about as head scratching as you can get, in my opinion.
Yes.
I'm not in the building every day.
You were.
I have been in the building every day for part of my career, and I know that building gets crazy quite a bit. I know that usually the first January Monday after the season, it's like a funeral home in there. There's not a whole lot of loud discussions. But I would have loved
today, Matt, do you think? Quiet?
I think a little bit muted. I think it'd be a little bit less quiet, than I had, because back in our day, like, they would gut everybody. Like, it was gone. Like, Mangini didn't have a GM, so he was the GM, and then he got cut. And then when Shermer got sent on his way, or when Chud got sent on his way, the building was just, and yikes. It was just a day you stay in your office. You don't make yourself seen. To take you into the office, the building. On days like that, if somebody stops by your office to shake your hand on their way out the door, you see them in the hallway on the way to the cafeteria, you shake their hand, you wish them well, and you get your tail back to your office, because you don't want to be considered fraternizing with anybody who's leaving the organization. You don't want any of that. You just want to do your job, and you want to go home at the end of the day, and you want to be able to come back the next day. So you tread very lightly. You do your job. You make sure you're seen enough, but not heard, I guess is the best way to put it. In this case, it's weird because the two guys surrounding the guy who's going to end up leading your rebuild are gone, and he should have been gone before any of them. Well, no, not before, Stefanski. Or at least at the same day as Stefanski. But definitely, I'll give Andrew Berry credit. You're surviving working with Paul DePodesta. God love you. But there's a special place in football heaven for you. But I still don't think that you could say, oh, he had a great 2025 draft class. Did he really?
Part of it was good.
All honesty, did he? Because you could say Mason Graham was a good pick. But let's break it down. Mason Graham was a solid pick.
Yeah.
Nobody in the world wanted that trade down. But you still got another number one out of Jacksonville, so you live with it.
Which is pretty low now.
Right. Well, yeah, and it could get lower too, but people weren't thinking that at the time. People thought Jacksonville was going to suck, and they haven't. And in fact, they've been the exact opposite. But so you got a second first-round pick. Okay, good. But then you look, and you take at a usable spot in the third round, you take a quarterback who will be lucky to play in the CFL in 2 years. Honestly, and I'm not trying to rip on the guy. You can't help how tall or short you are, but he's not an NFL quarterback. I think everybody in America can see that his game is short passes and screens, and that stuff works in other leagues that does not work in the NFL.
Yeah. You had no business being drafted, period, above a seventh round pick, never mind third round.
Right. So that was a huge swing and miss. And then you look at the running back out of Tennessee, Sampson, and he's scared to get hit. He said in his training, he said in training camp, I'm not a big fan of getting hit.
Yeah.
Well, nobody is, dude, but you're a running back. Like, that kind of comes with the job. Like, they should know that kind of information before they turn in a card. And that's where the frustration lies with me, is because if you're going to fire the guy who can't get it done on Sundays, you got to fire the guy that constructed a roster that looked like that.
Yep. And let's say this too. So this draft, you did get Carson Swester, who's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Great. Harold Fannon's a stud. Quinshawn Judkins, stud. Hopefully he gets back healthy. So he did make some good picks. Shedeur Sanders, at least usable, but he was a forgotten guy. Okay, so if you're going to give Andrew Berry credit for this draft, the media world, then how about we look at the 2024 draft? Because it should all count in his 6 years, right? Your second round pick is Michael Hall, who has done 0 as defensive tackle. Your third round pick is Zach Zintner, who's done less than 0 as a guard that you drafted to replace the offensive line that you're, oh, by the way, going to have to retool 3, maybe 4 guys. And Andrew Berry can't draft a lineman to save his life on the offensive side. That's the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
and wide receivers that he can't draft either.
Well, and not only that, but then trades, and he's the king of bad extensions. I mean, if you really look at it, you gave Jerry Jeudy he couldn't get that contract extension in front of Jerry Jeudy fast enough. And then the Watson deal, we all know that was the only reason that he agreed to come here was the money. We're not stupid. We all know that. Like that's what it is. I mean, you'd be dumb not to take the money.
Yeah.
But he's made a lot of bad business decisions. And if you're going to give him credit for 2025, you have to ding him for 2020 through 2024. He drafted Jed Wills. Jed Wills isn't even in the league. He passed up on Tristan Wirfs, who's an all-pro. Like, I mean, you're talking about missed opportunities all over the board. I mean, it might be a better thing that he didn't have those 3 first-round picks because he didn't use them wisely when he had them anyway.
Yeah.
So it's really it's a hard pill to swallow for me to think that this is the guy that I'm going to have to trust to rebuild not only the roster, but also the coaching staff as well. I don't.
What has he done to earn that opportunity? That's what I want to know. What has he done to earn? Even if you draft well, it doesn't mean you know how to pick a coach.
Absolutely right. But he didn't, to your point, he didn't earn the right to do it.
Yeah.
He's had minimal draft success at best, okay? And if you're going to say, well, we got to grade here differently here or there or whatever, okay, 2 of his best picks, in my opinion, and the jury's still out because there's a long way to go, were Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Carson Schlesinger. And they both happen to play the same position.
Yep.
And we don't know if JOK is ever going to play football again. I hope for his sake he doesn't. I hope he gets into a front office role. From a health standpoint, I worry about the young man's future. I want him to be healthy, and I want him to have a good life and be vibrant because that young man has just a magnetic personality, and he's such a good kid. I want him to have a good opportunity to live life and do good things, put good into this world like he has to this point. So I hope for his sake he gets onto the front office or coaching side of it because I really think he could have a nice future there and he could protect himself. But realistically, up until this year, Barry's been a swing and misser at the draft. So this is now his first kick at the can at the head coaching search. And when he can't even get something right that he's done 5 times, how the hell are we going to trust him to do something right the first time?
Well, Matt, here's the problem too. Is this that if you have Andrew Berry still in control now, Haslam, when he gave his brief press conference this morning, didn't outline if there would be any change in the operation. That dreaded collaborative word that Paul DePodesta loves so much. Really, kind of a sneaky, snaky way to do business because you don't know. Jimmy Haslam took ownership for the Deshaun Watson deal, okay, but we don't know. How much is Andrew Berry a yes man to somebody, right? Like we don't know who is responsible for what or what. And my issue is this: you're not going to get whoever you think the best head coach is because nobody is going to want to go under a structure where he can just be told who to play at quarterback. You know what you're going to get, Matt? We're going to get the next Kevin Stefanski, who's a young up and coming OC or whatever, a coordinator. Who wants a chance? You'll fill the job. People are like, who wants that job? You'll fill the job. It will just be with someone who's like we said earlier. Yeah, sure, man. I'll take the money. Give me a shot. Why not? And you're going to just get another Stefanski, and nothing is going to change because you don't have that true leader of men. And Matt, you've been in the building. That the players know that. They knew Stefanski wasn't the guy. It takes the respect level down a bit.
100%. I couldn't agree more. You're going to get unproven coordinator guy again. I mean, how many times do we have to get unproven coordinator guy? I mean, you're going back. I mean, I'm trying to think of the times that I was in the building. You had Shermer 2011, 2012, Chudzinski 2013, Pettin 14, 15, Jackson 16, 17, and part of 18, Kitchens 19, and then Stefanski 20. The Browns, if I'm right in my calculations by that measure, the Browns have not hired a head coach who has previously been a head coach at the pro level. I mean, Butch Davis was the head coach.
Guy. Jackson was interim with
Jackson was interim, but I don't. I mean, I'm talking like a full-time head coach that has like full-time experience. I even going before my time. I mean, Crennel was 06 through 05 through 09, through 08. I mean, dude, we've never really done that. We've never done that under Haslam. So
even Belichick was his first time.
Even Belichick was his first time. I mean, it can work out, but it hasn't. And I'm to your point. You're going to get another unproven coordinator guy that's going to not tell anybody above them no.
Yeah. And the thing is, like,
we're going to be back here again in 3 years, having wasted more primes of more careers because they don't. I'll be honest with you. If I'm Jim Schwartz, I don't want the head job for the Browns. I want to go somewhere else and be the head job.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's under the same circumstance. Now, if you tell me and Jim Schwartz, like, Jim, we want to keep you the defense. Myles speaks up, wants him. And he's like, look, man, Andrew Berry can do what a normal GM does, but I'm not taking direction from him. If they sign off on that, I can be interested. I can be interested in that scenario.
If they sign off on that, I just don't think they would. Yeah. And I think what tells me that they wouldn't is the fact that they had a really good candidate in the building last year, and he now led the New England Patriots to one of the top seeds in the AFC. His name was Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Hell of a football coach.
Yeah.
And they had him in the building, and he said, get me the bleep out of here. I'm going to go do what I know how to do, and I'm going to go do it in an organization that's going to let me do it the way I need to do it.
And he's doing it.
Boy, is he, man. He's got a quarterback that everybody crapped on for a year, said this kid isn't going to do anything, and now he's a leading MVP candidate. I mean, it's all about right place, right time, right situation, and Vrabel knew that. And Vrabel picked his spot, and you know what? Kudos to him. But I don't see Jim Schwartz being being the guy that's going to say yes to people. I think he'll toss a double bird at somebody that tells him he needs to play a certain guy a certain way. Yeah. But I don't see him being a yes man. And I think ultimately that is what is going to get the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns the job. That's why when I saw the list of candidates that people are putting out, I'm like, I don't want him. I don't want him either. The former assistant coach at Michigan, I want nothing to do with that lineage. You can take that. You can flush it somewhere. I don't want anything to do with anybody that has a show cause penalty at the other level. And I know the NFL is different. I don't want any of that stink. I don't want any of that because the next scandal that comes up at Michigan, because I don't think they're done with those yet, it's going to take away, it's going to distract from your team. Mm-hmm. And the last thing you need in the NFL is distraction.
With this team, especially.
You're not hurt. The Browns are king of drama. Let's be honest. They're the kings of headlines. They love themselves some ink.
How about a little Deion Sanders?
They always have. I mean, I haven't seen him mentioned yet, although
I don't think he'd do it.
I don't think he's – I think he's happy enough where he is to do what he wants to do. I think he's okay being at the college level and –
he's certainly not going to do
the game.
Take direction from Andrew Berry.
Yeah, you think? I mean, you think that meeting is going to go well? I would think that's going to be a terrible meeting myself. No, but
he take up his cowboy hat and head on out.
That's where it starts and ends for me. And then I saw potentially Brian Flores being in the mix. I've seen other names in the mix. It's all going to come out in the next week or two who's really in the mix or not with interviews and such. But I don't know that I want Jim Schwartz would be my number one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Of
and even
the
if Brian
candidate.
Flores, Matt, he's not going to answer to Andrew Barry. Like, the thing is,
Well, yeah, for sure.
If Andrew Barry is running this coaching search, what Jimmy Haslam said, and if we are to assume, because we haven't been told any different, that's going to be the same structure. Because if you're Andrew Barry, why would you give up the power that you have? You're not going to do that.
You're not. You don't. The thing is, you ride that horse till they tell you to get a new one out of town.
Yes.
But here's the thing. So we'll know real quick what kind of power Andrew Barry is going to have beyond this coaching search by the candidates who he interviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And whoever takes this job will ultimately tell you who's going to control the roster and who's going to have the power.
Yeah.
If it's Jim Schwartz, then I think things are going to change in that building. And then Andrew Barry probably moves up into a senior executive role with a nice pay bump and a nicer office and lesser stress than, the GM has. And then they're going to get another GM in here.
I'd be fine with that.
You know what? Go for it. I don't care. Do it. Go be in that nice office, setting strategy up. And maybe that's what he's ultimately going to do, ascend to that chief strategy role. But in terms of picking players, now I've seen enough to know that I want somebody new in there. And I don't want just a guy who's going to follow a spreadsheet. I want a guy that knows how to break down game film. I want, as strange as this sounds, that I know people are going to crush me for it. And you know what? I'll take the slings and arrows. I don't care. Give me a guy like John Dorsey any day over a guy that's a computer nerd. Give me a guy that wants to have somebody with a little chutzpah behind him. So a guy with, that gusto that I'm trying to be very, uncensored with, not needing the censor button now, but give me somebody that can make me run through a brick wall. Give me that guy.
Like Dan Campbell, like you said, John Dorsey, who, and is a perfect example to say can pick good players, but not necessarily the great talent evaluator of a head coach, hence Freddie Kitchens. But
sure,
you need to change. This is the chance to change direction for Jimmy Haslam. Your crap with Paul DePodesta outside the box did not work. Get back in the box. Get a blanket. Close the box. Get comfy in the box.
Wrap it up. Wrap up the box. Put a bow on it. Throw it curbside.
Yes.
Get rid of the damn box.
Back in the football box. You're outside the box. Outside the box is scary, and you failed miserably for almost a decade. So get back in the box, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going to get it, man. We're going to get, I'm telling you, like, we're going to hear either a bunch of guys who are like, who? Or, oh. And you're right. We're going to tell real quick what type of power. Because if you have anybody that has any sort of backbone, then Andrew Barry's position likely changes. If you're getting coordinator XYZ or college guy, this, that, and the other, then it's going to stay the same, and we're going to be in the same situation. Because, Matt, I'm with you. I don't know how you have a guy keep a job whose blind spot is offensive line, is wide receiver, and quarterback. Those are the three freaking most important positions in the game. And the guy can't evaluate those positions. It's
other than D end and DB. But let's take a deeper dive at that. If you got a minute, who are the best players on this Browns roster the last 6 years?
They were John Dorsey's guys.
They were John Dorsey's guys. You had Nick Chubb at running back. You had, Amari Cooper, I'll give you. That was an acquiring of Andrew Barry through a trade. But otherwise, it was Baker, it was Chubb, it was Denzel Ward, and going back even further, it was Myles Garrett, who was, I believe, Sashi Brown's guy, even though Sashi tried desperately to draft Mitch Trubisky. But I have to give him credit. He turned into card. He turned into card that said Myles Garrett, okay?
Thanks to Jackson and Greg Williams.
He gets credit for that one, okay? Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But by and large, they were not Andrew Barry's guys. And remember, when Andrew took the job, he kept his entire draft class for like 3 solid years, with the exception of one guy who had some kind of issue that had to be really bad because he never spent another down in the NFL, to my knowledge, even in camp. But he kept his guys for a long time. He was allergic to cutting his own guys because he wanted to prove that he knew what he was doing and didn't. And that's a big problem. Yeah. He kept the guys from John Dorsey that actually knew how to play. And it worked. Those guys are still making plays now, whether it be for another team or for the Browns. In Myles' case, or Myles was Sashi Browns, but in Denzel Ward's case, it was here. And realistically, other than a 1 or 2 year wonder, who can we say solidly that was an Andrew Berry pick that actually worked out to the end that it should have?
It's like the best you can say is Grant Delpit, who is still maybe hasn't reached his potential and has been good.
Not great.
You know? Yeah,
good. Solid. Yeah.
And that's fine. You don't need Hall of Famers on every pick. You need solid. But there've been a lot of not solid, and it's just a baffling situation that for whatever reason, I heard a rumor after that when Paul DePodesta left, Andrew Berry made the power play into Jimmy Haslam's ear, which, as you know, if you can be the last one in Jimmy's ear sometimes, that's it. And kind of went away from the collaboration with, me and Stefanski are a unit. Andrew's like, yeah, let go of that hand for a second, Kev. I'm gonna go for a little stroll myself.
You don't say, right? Yeah. Like, not having a mid-season bye-week press conference didn't tell us that you were hanging this guy out to dry. I mean, the GM, that's it. Full disclosure, my opinion, take it for what it's worth. That's a fireable offense right there. You built this roster. You answer for it.
Yeah. Cowardly.
It was gutless. Yes. It was absolutely gutless. You put that man out there with Dylan freaking Gabriel after trading Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. You traded Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals. It had never been done before. And Joe Flacco Joe Flacco, had it been for any competent defensive play down in Cincinnati, would have put them in the playoffs.
Yep. And if you had any sort of weaponry and offensive line here, would have done better this year.
So, yeah, I'm telling you right now, dude, like this just Barry doesn't pass the smell test for me as a organizational builder. And you totally saw the power play when he didn't have a press conference in the middle of the year. I'm telling you right now, if I was the one calling the shots, he would have had a for sale sign in his yard the next day, because that's gutless. You hang Kevin Stefanski out to dry like that with a roster that is built of total dog crap, and you're going to tell me that you're not going to answer questions? No, I'm telling you when you're going to get your tail into that press conference room, and you are going to face the heat. If you don't face it from the media, you're going to face it from somebody else, and that somebody else is going to be me.
Yeah.
But Jimmy clearly did not do that.
And Matt, we have to have, again, the fact that the group that evaluated Dylan Gabriel above Shedeur Sanders, who clearly is a better quarterback right now than Dylan Gabriel.
I think you can take out the right now part.
Yeah, forever. Yes.
Full disclosure.
He just is. And so you have the guy who evaluated Dylan Gabriel. You have the guy who drafted DTR, who I don't believe is even on a practice squad. If he's certainly not on an active roster. And then like you bring in Kenny Pickett and then traded. Like there's no plan. There's no plan. It's absolute hodgepodge. And this is the guy that you want to lead a head coach and lead to the future? I don't understand what the Haslams are thinking or doing. It's again makes no sense.
I know they take a lot of heat for the lack of continuity, but there's something to be said for continuity, and then there's something to be said for bad continuity. And I've said it with another team in this town who I absolutely love, but the continuity part of it is just, I have thoughts on that. I mean, when you're not winning at all, does continuity really mean anything? You can get to the playoffs, that's one thing, but if you can't do anything once you're there, then it doesn't matter.
The continuity is losing.
Right. So. And the last 6 years, they had 2 playoff appearances. Great. 1 playoff win, should have been 2, but we won't talk about that because they should have beaten Kansas City when they played Chad freaking Henne. And that damn fumble from Rashard Higgins, that still is a rule that sucks. But
call.
The hit, where he got ear-holed by, was it Sorensen?
Dirty Dan Sorensen, that rat.
Yeah. Cost us the appearance in the AFC Championship game. Likely cost Baker his job here. But anyway, not to get too far off track. Stefanski's the 4th winningest coach in franchise history. Did you know that? In terms of win totals?
You know what? If you look at no one lasting more than 2 years since '99, like I guess that makes sense. It was Paul
It's
Brown.
totally believable, right?
Yeah,
it's totally believable.
Do you have the list? Do you have the full list? Paul Brown's one.
I don't have the full list. I just know that Stefanski was fourth, and I kind of shook my head. I'm like, there's no actually there is, because as long as he lasted more than 3 years,
probably
I
Marty
mean, he's
Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer's up there, Brown's up there, and then
Sam, the cardiac kid guy, Sam Rictiliano.
Sam Rictiliano, he might not be. The guy I'm thinking is the guy who took over for Paul Brown was Blanton Collier. But I'll follow up and let you know who the top four are. But yeah, when I heard that statistic, I'm like, no, that can't be right. And I'm like, well, the last 25 years have been complete and utter destruction and devastation. So that actually could be very right.
Matt, in the chat, our buddy Grant, our show Canton correspondent, Grant had a great quote earlier, and he put it in. He said, "The mold is still festering in the front office."
There's no doubt.
Has not been cleared.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. 100%. You got a little bit in the corner, but you missed the big old wall that had the big old stain on it.
You missed it. You know, the Campbell trade, nice. Jimmy hasn't brought that. That was a good deal. Tyson Campbell. But, you know, there's here and there, but overall you're missing on.
It's too many pockets. It's not enough picture. It's like you're putting together a connect the dots puzzle, and the picture doesn't create anything.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of dart. Like they were famous for saying, if you get more darts at the dartboard, the better your chances. And my retort always was, if you've never played darts before, it doesn't freaking matter how many throws at the dartboard you get, you still suck because you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
And clearly over 9 years, Deep has to prove that. And over 6, I thought Andrew Berry had too. But to be honest with you, if the Browns were only going to fire one guy today, I think they got it wrong.
I'm totally with you. Matt, great stuff catching up and going over this. Where can people find you? Because you are an award-winning Cleveland sports writer. You're popping stuff all over the place, man.
So you can find me at Matt Florjancic on X. You can find me at Matt Flo Sports on Instagram. And then you can check out my blog From the Best Seat in the House on WordPress.com. So
nice.
That's I'm a little bit everywhere. Try to be as everywhere as I can be. And I'll probably have a blog or two this week about what I think of the current situation at 76 Lou Groza Boulevard.
Boy, can't wait for that, buddy. Good stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
Always appreciate it, Andy. Hey, and before I get on out of here, I want to, if I may have a couple of seconds, I just want to say welcome to the world to my little son, Steven, who was born on December 17th. We got another Cleveland sports fan. Sorry, dude. I'm apologizing in advance. So when you can look at this in 40 years and hate me for cheering for Cleveland teams, you at least have my apology on record. So
is he here?
Yeah, but look, give me he just got a bottle, so he might be sleeping, but we'll get him on the next one.
We'll get him on the next one. There you go. We don't want to disrupt feeding time. That's good.
No. I've learned very quickly. You do not mess with a baby in his bottle, and you do not mess with a sleeping baby, because that usually means mama is sleeping at the same time. Yep. You do not do that. It's bad news.
You do not. Well, congratulations to you, Jesse, and baby Steven. Welcome, newest member to the Dog Pound, buddy. Great stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, brother. Always great catching up with you. Have a good new year.
You too, brother. See ya. There he goes, Matt Florjancic, and does a great job writing. Like he said, find him on social. Award-winning. Grant put in there Marty, Kevin, Paul, and Blanton. Okay, so yeah, Collier, Blanton. Those are the top 4. Thanks for that, Grant. Yeah. Jeez. It's kind of depressing. Stefanski's 4th overall in wins. Unbelievable. Boy. Playoffs are starting though, guys, right? We'll try. Make sure you're following me on Sporting News on X at AndyMC81, on X at SickPod Browns, Instagram and TikTok at AndyMC Sports. Find those articles. They're great. We're going to have fantasy football, sleeper picks, way too early draft rankings as well. But the wild card weekend begins. Rams, Panthers, Packers, Bears on Saturday. Give me Rams with the Panthers squeaking in on a tie break, and give me the Bears at home over the Packers. And you can bet on that and all the action on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Makes every playoff moment feel bigger. DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's code 6sports to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
There you go, kids. That's it. Stefanski out, Barry in. Head coach search has begun. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Stay tuned. Anything breaks, we'll be popping on here. So keep an eye on that on all socials. Big thanks to Matt Florjancic, former Brown staff writer in the building. Great insight from him. For producer Jimmy, I'm Andy McNamara. Brown season is over, but there's so much more to talk about. So until next time, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.